My name is Morgan Maxey. I'm an associate attorney here at Maxey Law Offices. I work with my uncle Bill and my father Bevan, who are the two partners here. My brother also works here, and we have three other attorneys that work here, and then a large group of support staff. And yeah, we just make it all possible. We couldn't do it without any one or any group of those individuals. Law was not my first choice. I came out of high school really wanting to do engineering. I was actually fairly good at math, and then I got to college. I played a little bit of basketball at the University of Washington for about a year, and during that year I failed calculus, so I kind of had to switch around, decided to become an English major, and I took one course in particular that really kind of shifted my focus towards the law. The class was called Linguistics and the Law. Fortunately, I don't quite remember who my professor was, but the class itself was very memorable. So after that, I kind of started looking into taking the LSAT, started talking to my English professors kind of about what they thought, and then kind of geared towards going to law school. Then I ultimately went to Gonzaga Law School, where my brother, my uncle, my dad, my grandfather all went, so it's kind of cool to have that in common, especially after my dad went to WCU, I went to UW, and then so did my brother, so it's kind of interesting. Kind of brings it back full circle, and then it's kind of how I ended up here, stayed in Spokane, decided to, help the community and help out our family firm. I think the main thing is that you always have a new challenge ahead of you, and there's always work to be done. I mean, as there is in any field, but especially in the law, I mean, you get new clients every day. Some of them present with the same issues, some different, but really it's always about kind of helping people, and there's always people that are in need of help. So that's kind of what I'd say is the main draw or the main positive for me. So I'd say by the time we get to the courtroom, that's probably like the last 15% of the work that we've done up until that point, because usually there's a lot of preparing, getting the documents ready, meeting with clients. Sometimes you have to talk to the opposing attorney to see if you can resolve some of the issues prior to, especially if they're minor issues or issues that, based upon the facts of the case, can be resolved. You always want to try and minimize it to really only focus on the things that are truly in dispute. There's a lot of time on the phone for me. It's typically how I like to do it, just to get ready, just to make sure, like I said, to communicate with my client effectively, to talk to the other party or attorney, see what we can get done. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into that. As far as a daily schedule, I mean, I usually get here either right before 8 or a little bit before. Everyone's different. I like to get my work done the night before. Some people do it the morning of. Personally, for me, I just like the peace of mind of having it all done and ready. But everyone's different, and usually I use that to go into the next day, see if I can, have the morning to think of things that I've missed or things that may come up, and then usually you get to the hearing or get to trial. Trial's a little bit of a different deal just because it can be anywhere from a half day to a week, 2 weeks, and usually I would say for every day that you're in trial requires 2 days of preparation. So you have to kind of be fluid and flexible in a way, but also knowing, kind of what has to get done, and kind of time management, I would say, is probably the biggest important skill. And that's usually learned in law school. It's probably the biggest lesson that a lot of people learn, just because law school in and of itself is different than undergrad. The two are challenging in their own ways, but yeah, I'd say time management is probably the most important skill.